think fast. You want to make sure you're following your inner guidance and your inner source. We don't need, and when I want to speak to, not needing to work with a guru or things of this nature, you know what I'm saying? Unless it resonates in your heart. So this is not saying that you should never, learn aspects or insights from someone else, you know what I'm saying? Just like they got people who have esoteric and occult teachings with classes and stuff like that, or, people who teach, yoga instructors and stuff like that. So it is all right for us to, learn certain aspects that, again, that we may not, know of, or we may not be able to tap into and off of our own inner guidance. But just want to share that reminder, that we are already complete, and we're always shifting. You're always growing and learning. Even the quote unquote gurus and teachers are constantly shifting and learning. And just knowing that we are complete already. Unless it resonates with your soul, to join a religious system or something of that nature, like, and honestly, for the most part, I'm pretty sure, if you're tapped into your soul, you wouldn't want to join any religions, but because your soul understands that, that religions and certain little spiritual practices come way after, and again, for the sense of time and or whatever, but a soul is way more ancient than the religions. Like the religions were created due to our existence previously, before they existed, you know what I'm saying? And again, some of us being of that primordial energy, you know what I'm saying, more directly, let's just say it like that. Everything is quantumly interconnected, but within this realm of reality, you know what I'm saying? Again, some energies, have a soul, some don't. And you could tell by the actions of obvious set people on either side. You could just see, who has a unconditional love and compassionate soul, and who don't, who do soulless shit. Don't give a fuck, starting wars, fucking up the land, and all that other type of shit. But again, unless it resonates with your soul, there's no reason to, put yourself under no guru or things of that nature. Anything external. Like the moment we run into the external for like confirmation to everything, then our inner guidance so slowly dwindles. You know what I'm saying? Like using a calculator. If you constantly use a calculator, then you'll forget what's 4 plus 4. You gotta ask somebody what's 4 plus 4 again, because you're so used to letting them something else externally do things for you or tell you something. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing it for yourself. So just like a calculator, that can happen on that level as well. That might let note. You don't have to learn from any gurus to be complete, Again, and it will resonate in your heart. Like your heart and soul will let you know, like, hey, you should take this class or work with this person. And of course, and and that's an alignment for you, you know what I'm saying? But then some of us may be doing it just from the religious subconscious program and the dogmatism of like, oh, I gotta have a preacher or somebody who's ordained or something, someone who's considered to be a professional in this field, And again, that's why I like the terminology, to each his own on how you use wordplay, but like masters, like, even a master teacher is like, in order to be a master, you gotta have a slave, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't want no slaves around me, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, universal, we give up our inner guidance to you. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to do your inner work, you know, tap into your own inner guidance, you know. Oh, sorry, my scarf. And yeah, that's what I'm mostly speaking about it for too, you know, just making sure that this isn't a subconscious programming, you know, to look for a preacher or a guru, you know what I'm saying? And making sure, you know, you realize that, you know, the answers are already inside of you. That's the whole joke to like a lot of Zen little stories, you know, whether the person travel all across the world, or, you know, the students doing all this shit, you know, just for the instructor to be like, bro, this shit inside of you. Like, nothing externally or chasing something externally is never gonna get you Zen, or, you know, that Tao or whatever. You know, it's like Tao is like knowing that it's all inside of you right now, and that you don't have to chase down anything. That's why, again, if we're taking actions from like teachings and rules and stuff like that, that's why things get thrown all off, because, you know, you're doing things from external influences. You know, your actions should be from internal influences, from your inner source, your inner heart, you know, doing what you love, you know, do what you love and the rest will follow, you know, point blank period. But again, unless it resonates with your soul, you know, to tap into a certain vibe, you know. But again, ye are God's children of the Most High, and that's what, you know, the stories of the different Christ figures, you know, in most cases, you know, for sure, like the Jesus aspect, you know, is about, you know, just showing like, hey, ye are gods, like you tapped into this God energy, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just me, you know, like. Now, of course, this story goes deeper because it's also a personification of the Christ consciousness energy that's rising up in 144,000, you know what I'm saying? In which I done spoke on that too, the 144 coming from counting up the petals, you know, the symbols, the Sanskrit symbols for the chakras. Each one has a petal, and when you add all the petals up and you multiply it times the 1,000 for the crown chakra, you get 144,000. Across the forehead. And another cool aspect of it, while I'm right here, so you get all kind of little stuff while but you know what, I just realized I would have been doing too much because I can't hold this camera and do all that at the same time. But so again, just you are complete already. Just by loving yourself unconditionally and realizing that the only perfection is, you know, loving your imperfections, you know what I'm saying? And constantly growing, you know. Constantly growing. You know, your imperfection is what makes you, you know, unique. And there is a lot of strength in our vulnerability, you know what I'm saying? We are, how can I say, we are, you know, uniquely wired, uniquely different, but yet, you know, interconnected to each other as well, you know. But don't, again, just making sure that you're not doing this from the dogmatism, the dogmatic teachings, you know, because most of us as souls, for whatever reason, a lot of us chose to go to families with heavy Catholic and Christianity rule. You know, I guess we have some type of karma with that energy. You know, we could have been the priests in Ethiopia that allowed for things to get overrun. You know, or you know, some of us having little recent incarnations, as much as being a person in the church that allowed for the preacher to touch on little boys or so. So it's like you gonna come back, you know, in that vibe. And matter of fact, that's also the vibe for some brethren and sisters who may have been, you know, that energy in the past of like molesting, then they end up as a, you know, in this lifetime being somebody who actually got touched on by a priest or a preacher due to them probably possibly doing it in a past life, you know, or just creating that situation to learn from it. Nonetheless, you know, again, we choose our life situations, parents, you know, all that, because we on some vibe like, all right, their bodysuit, their DNA lineage is perfect for me to learn the lesson that I want to learn in this lifetime, in this, you know, and their DNA lineage is lined up with the lineage of the past incarnations that I were in, you know what I'm saying? So as a soul, you know, you pick your parents on that vibe, you know, the connection with the past energies, and then, you know, in connection with the energies that you know, the karmic energies that you're working out within this lifetime, you know. So you're choosing your parents from that vibe, you know. Even though this is not said that this is Cupid, you know, from my own little realization of vibe, you know, that's partially too an aspect of Cupid being a little baby, you know, and Cupid shooting the little arrows of love, you know. Cupid could be the soul, you know. I say, for instance, our soul before our parent, before our earth, you know, earth bodysuit parents, you know what I'm saying, come together, you know. We as souls, like, you know, through the ethers, you know, trying to cause little connections between them, you know what I'm saying, so they could get together and manifest a bodysuit that we could come down into, you know what I'm saying. So we playing matchmaker from the ethers, you know what I'm saying, like on some Cupid vibes. But again, making sure that if you're dealing with any, you know, teachings and any quote unquote like guru type of energy, or somebody, you know, that's a teacher, anything at that level, you know, make sure it's due to it resonating within your heart, and something that your inner source and inner guidance is like, hey, you know, this teaching or this is gonna, you know, because again, it's not any levels on that level, you know, we're constantly growing. So it's not like looking for some level like, oh, to be complete, but you know, we're constantly leveling up just on the growth aspect. So again, you know, your higher self that you are is letting you know, because that's how, like, I'm starting to even say it like that, like the higher self that you are, you know, it's like, hey, you know, you would get a lot out of this teaching, or a lot out of, you know, spending time with this being, or whatever the case may be, you know. Then cool, that's coming from inside you, but just making sure it's not coming from the dogmatism of like, oh, well, you know, again, because even if you didn't resonate with church, you know, due to your soul being strong enough to realize like, all right, I don't have to go to church, because you were subconsciously seeing that as you grew up in your earlier stages of life, you know. Again, you may hop from the skillet to the frying pan, you know, and what that saying mean is basically like, you know, somebody hops from the skillet to the frying pan on some shit like, oh, it's not the skillet, you know, it's something different, it's called a frying pan. It's like, nah, it's different names, but it's still the same shit. You're getting fried up in a hot ass pot regardless, you know what I'm saying? And that's what some of us do, you know. Again, that's where subconscious programming gets deep, because here it is where you think like, oh man, I don't like religion, fuck that shit, I'm gonna do something else. But you take that religious dogmatic mindset and blueprint and just apply it to something that's named different, but yet you're still doing the same shit, you know what I'm saying? Still looking for a preacher, still looking for somebody externally to praise you, and you know, you're still looking for Jesus, but instead of Jesus, you turned it into Krishna, or you know, or Zeus, or fucking Odin, or Thor, or you know, Quetzalcoatl, or you know, Mithra, or you know, Horus, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you know, like, you want to just make sure you're not, you know, taking these dogmatic aspects and the blueprints of dealing with spirituality, and you know, and just, you know, where you're doing the same shit, but just think because you're using a different name that, you know, oh, it's not the same shit. The skillet and the frying pan are both used to fry some shit. You know, so that just be it, just, you know, sharing this, you know, so that awareness could be raised. But that's basically it. Peace, happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future over here in this water. And we're not going too far past over here by the palm trees. We're staying right here, right now. The only thing that exists is this moment. Because in this moment, I am fixing things from my past, or I'm changing things from my past, and in this moment I'm creating my future. The only thing that exists is this moment. This is the future. Well, in the future, right now, of course you want to have awareness of what things to come, but it's not to live our lives constantly sitting in the future aspect of things. It's like, well, right now, like, say for instance, again, somebody could be like, it's gonna flood in the future, let's just say, because due to programming from the misconceptions of the flood in the Bible, which it kind of stands for another energy. But let's just say, oh, somebody like a flood coming, this and that. What's happening in your now moment? And more so in the aspect of is it showing signs in your moment for you to just constantly live in that fear of like, oh, a flood coming, that's like saying it's gonna rain and strongly in the next few days, so let me constantly walk around with a raincoat and an umbrella and worried about some situation that's not happening in my now. That's a balanced and unique situation, within itself. And I find that that's the let's just say the challenge in essence, where being tapped in psychically, and being tapped into future aspects, is to have that insight but still be in the moment, in a manner where you're not like living fearfully, worried about some event that's to come. It's like right now, only thing that exists is this moment. Is it moment? Is it this? In it moment? Is it this? The moment, y'all. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Remember, hit the like button if you're liking the content from the videos. Make sure you subscribe so you could matter of fact, subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you could get notified whenever I put up new videos and do live videos. You'll get notifications, and any and all donations is greatly appreciated. I got the donation link under mostly all of my videos, and if you're on Instagram, I got the donation link on my Instagram, Universal Frequencies, and my Epic Lifestyles Instagram, where I have my jewelry at, website under construction. But until then, you have to connect with me on Instagram to deal with the jewelry. And also, again, with the donation vibes too, you could do the donation in the form of, getting a piece of jewelry, in return, however, Again, any and all donations is greatly appreciated. Peace, y'all. Again, now is the vibrate. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now.